George Brett, Hall of Fame, 3,154 career hits, 305 career batting average. Ken Arzone here, Vista, California. I'm looking at Monday, May, about 26, 2025. All right, this will be the last video on George Brett career. I'm going to look at the 1990s. I've covered the 70s and 80s. 1990, 37 years old, Kansas City Royals. I mentioned before, I like George Brett being loyal to the Kansas City Royals. Stuck with the team all 21 years. I like it. I like guys who stay with their team the entire career instead of bouncing around from team to team to team. You know that Rickey Henderson played for 8 different teams. I don't like it, Rickey. Sorry. What are you doing? Played for Oakland? Stay with Oakland your entire career. You had a Hall of Fame career, but to play for 8 different teams, pathetic. But not George Brett. Loyal to the Kansas City Royals, 21 years. 1990, 37 years old, 142 games. 544 at-bats. 82 runs scored, 179 hits. He gets 45 doubles. George Brett was a doubles machine. 7 triples, 14 homers, 87 RBI. He bats .329. Guess what? His 3rd batting title, but it is noteworthy and significant. Why? Did you know that George Brett is the only player in baseball history out of 15 to 20,000 baseball players who have come through the big leagues to win a batting title in 3 different decades? Did you know that? I've heard about it, but now that I'm dwelling on it, that's remarkable. 1976, he won the batting title, 333. So that's the 70s. Then in the decade of the 80s, 1980, he wins a batting title, 390. And then in 1990, which is the 3rd decade, 70s, 80s, and then the 90s, another decade, he wins his 3rd batting title, 329. No one else has ever done that. 3 different decades. Ty Cobb came close. He won a decade in the from 1900 to 1909. That decade, that 10-year period, Ty Cobb won a batting title during that decade. Then in the teens, 1910 through 1919, he won about 10 of them, right? Well, he's got 12 batting titles. So he won some in the 1900s. And then in the 1910s, he won again. So that's 2 decades. The 1920s, he played till 1928. Didn't win a batting title, but he came close. 1919, he won his last batting title. If that had been 1920, he would have been another guy with 3 different decades, 1900s, 1910s, and then the 1920s. But he just missed out. 1919 was his last batting title. But George Brett, 3 different decades, 329. 387 on base, 515 slugging, 280 total bases. Good year. Good year. Then in 1991, he's 38 years old, 131 games, 129 hits. That's .255, uncharacteristic. But he's getting close to finishing his career, right? 38 years old. 1992, 39 years old. 20th year in the league. How about this? 152 games. His 20th year in the league. 592 at-bats, 55 runs scored. That's low. But 169 hits, 35 doubles, 61 RBI. That's low. That's .285. And then his last year, 1993, 40 years old. Why not? His 21st year in the league. 145 games. So he misses 17. How about that? 40 years old, plays 145 games, 560 at bats, 149 hits. So about a hit a game. Probably some of those games he is pinch hitting. 31 doubles, 19 homers. How about that? Finish on a flourish, 75 RBI. Bats 266. His career is over. But during that 1992 season, he got his 3,000th hit. And then in 1993, he just adds on 149 more hits to finish with, 3,154. Let's evaluate his career. 2,707 games. That's good. Durability, longevity. 10,349 at bats. There's only a select few of guys in baseball history to pass the 10,000 at bat mark. That's significant in itself. 10,000 at bats. 1,583 runs scored. He had 4 100 run scored seasons. Had about 3 or 4 more 90 plus. That should have been more. That should have been about 10 100 100 run scored seasons. Should have been about 10 of them. He got 4. I like the hits, 3,154. That he had 2 seasons, 200 hits. That should have been more. I think maybe 6 or 7 would have been nice. But he missed some games while he was playing during those years. In fact, he never played every game every season. He had 159 a couple times, 155, 157. Never played every game of the season. How about this stat? 665 doubles. Now, if you're a member of the 500 doubles club, that's good. He goes 665. That's top 10 all time. 137 triples, 317 homers. He had some seasons where he hit 20 or more, and he had one season 30 or more. 1,596 RBIs. I like it. But he only had 4 seasons, 100 RBIs. Should have been more. Should have been about 10. But he passes 1,500 in RBIs. I like that's a stat I like. The 1,500 runs, 1,500 RBIs. I like it. 201 stolen bases. Not bad. Struck out 908 times. Good. Kept it under 1,000. 10,000 at bats, under 1,000 strikeouts. 305 career batting average. Let me count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 seasons out of 21. 300 or better. I'd like to have seen more. 15 or 16 would have been a good number. So he goes 11 out of 21. 300 or better. His high was 390. That's a good year. Could have been 400. You know that year he played 117 games? If he had played 160, that could have been a 400 batting average season. He was so hot. Listen to this. 175 hits in 117 games. He was on pace that year for 240 hits. I would have liked to have seen 400 batting average that year. 369 on base career. 487 slugging career. Good. Almost 500. I like this stat. 5,044 total bases. He passes 5K. That would be a goal if I was playing. 5,000 total bases. And the 300 total base seasons is a goal. He had 4 seasons, 300 or more total bases. 2 other seasons, 298. So that's good production right there, total bases. How can we evaluate George Brett among the great hitters of the past? Top 75. Why? Well, the 305 career batting average is lower than a lot of guys ahead of him as far as career batting average. But he did play longer than a lot of guys that are ahead of him. Played 10, he had 10,000 at bats, 21 years, 2,700 games. Some of the guys that are ahead of him with higher career batting averages maybe had like 10, 12, 15 years, 18 years. Didn't get up to the 10,000 at bats. So the more at bats he had, I think the lower his career batting average became. I think George Brett, he should have been about 325 career, but he had some seasons where he was in the 280s, 290s, 250, 260. That hurt his career batting average. Still, though, George Brett, one of the premier hitters of the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Good player. All right, we're done with George Brett's career. Who's next? Again, I like to focus on guys with 300 or better career batting averages. So I'm a baseball historian. I go through Baseball Reference. Covered about 100 guys so far, 300 or better. There's another guy that's overlooked. Let's just look at him. I'll give him one video. His name is Bob Fothergill. Bob Fothergill. Have you heard of him? I haven't. But when I went to Baseball Reference, I noticed something about him. 325 career batting average. So he had 1,100 games. Not that many. I'll look at his career. How did he achieve 325 career? So that's the next video. And then we'll keep looking at guys 300 or better career. Eventually, we'll get to some other noteworthy Hall of Fame players, i.e. like a Mickey Mantle, 298 career. Frank Robinson, some of these other Hall of Famers. They're not 300 or better, but they're noteworthy to look at. I'll get to those guys, but I want to finish looking at all the guys in baseball history. 300 or better career batting average. It's going to take a lot of videos. Keep going, okay? All right, we'll talk to you later. Sincerely, I'm out.